Once lost upon the stormy downs, I had a vision of a gown that clothed a figure wild and free, whose face was not yet known to me. Her form was shaped by golden threads, spun by the living from the dead. I knew not how that dress was made, and though I left, the vision stayed, as did the words she spoke to me beneath that creaking hawthorn tree. Go gather the nettles where'er they are found, in graveyards and copses and old fairy mounds, in combes and in deans beneath bent ragged hedges, where order gives way to the wild fraying edges. Spin them into thread, not of gold or for riches, but pulled from the mud and the dirt in the ditches. It's food for the hungry and cloth for the poor, and has been for always and forevermore. I did not know where I should begin, to cut, rettle, strip, scrape, card or spin. Fear not, she said softly, for you've heard the call. Put your trust in the nettle, for it teaches all. So for years I went tramping and spent all my days learning the secrets of old Wapple ways, the names of the flowers and the birds on the wing, and the call of the vixen, the nettle's sweet sting. I soon learned the power of wood ash and lie, of rotting and fire and plant-gifted dye. I learnt to twist fibres into long lengths of twine, and they mark where I'd walked and trailed me behind. If I found myself lost with no marker or sign, I knew I could always just retrace the line. I'd gathered these skills like my fate were foreseen, for they held me together like a stitch in a seam. Then one day I stumbled into lime kiln wood, where a sea of green nettles all proudly stood, in a hollow carved out by old Boney's men, prisoners of war from a time way back when, where I saw puffs of smoke drifting past on the breeze, as if from the pipes of the old Pharisees. So I gathered up nettles, 2,000 or more, and spread them all out one by one on the floor. A floor of sweet grass, dampened by dew, I retted them there for 1 week or two. I stripped off the bast, tore it free from the core, in rough hands I rolled it, then rolled it some more. Amazed by the miracle of that stinging weed, I scraped and I carded till fibres were freed. I spun up my sorrows into long slender threads, unravelling the tangles that ran through my head. This task I pursued for many a long night, spinning till bathed in dawn's gentle light. I spun on while standing in torn ancient woods, as heavens turned round me and marked where I stood. In silence this vigil stretched out into years, I twisted these threads from my doubt and my fears. Then one day I noticed I needn't spin more, I'd spun every skein that the fairies asked for. So I carried that warp to a small gloomy room and stretched it across an old rickety loom. With the clunking of treadles beneath my 2 feet, I wove up that cloth to their regular beat. The warp threads held strong, not a single one tore, the weft lay down sweetly with barely a flaw. Over and under a weave wove of spells for lovers and pilgrims to old holy wells. With the cloth off the loom it was washed and made good, then softened with sea stones pressed down onto wood. The cloth was now ready, so stitching began. The pattern was cut in accordance to plan. With needle and thread I made good on the deal, the dress came to life and the vision made real. So I laid out that dress in old rocky clump on the fallen great stone by the moss-covered stump. Then I turned and walked out through that soft autumn light. I walked until Stammer fell right out of my sight. With no right or wrong, it's hard to be sure why I'd chosen this path that was meant for the pure. Perhaps it was destined like some cosmic test that I opened the heart that beat in my chest. So I let things just be, however they might, put faith in the stars that lit up the night. And then one day I found her beneath the sails of a mill that no longer turned in that park on the hill. I knew all at once that the searching was done, and that all was in balance like earth, moon and sun. She wore soft knitted nettle against her bare skin, but that barely covered the love from within. This world's like a dream, it's real yet it's not. Imagine like the fairies that science forgot. The impossible happens, love finds a way to guide us towards it like night follows day. Its paths like a warp thread fixed between beams, but the weft is the freedom to live out our dreams.